Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. This is a new video series I like to call Commutes of Seattle, where I take your rides and footage and talk about them. So we're gonna get right into it. This is from Cam. He is headed from the Rainier Vista UW right by the Burke Gilman right into South Lake Union, and he's doing a route that is a little bit different than what most people would do. It is the most direct version, going straight through the Montlake detours, which why I find this sort of pathing interesting, and right into the thick of it. So there's gonna be lots of things to talk about. This is a really neat idea to me because I can cover just way more ground, and I think that these areas are also good places to know in terms of how to navigate our city. So of course I'm not in control of the pilot. I'm just gonna be taking note of what he's doing. So first of all, he's heading over the Montlake Bridge, but on the less commonly west used side. There is gonna be a curb here that you go on, because most of our bridges you're not allowed to bike directly over. But yeah, this bridge has always been a bit of a choke point with other pedestrians, but I can tell Cam, he does this commute a lot, and he does it on his road bike with a backpack. So he's definitely going to be on the faster end of riders. And I'd say also, I would just sort of point out that this sort of routing in general, as it stands today, is sort of an intermediate level type of road, because you're going to be dealing with cars and just sort of being out there more often than just taking the Burke Gilman and the Westlake cycle path. The advantage though is that this is definitely the most direct way to get into downtown. So this could be for those looking to save time, way to do it. The full route map and everything will be down below, so you can see the exact route and follow there. But of course there's the map on the top right. But we're now entering into this 520 corridor. We see the construction that's coming up for the new Roanoke lid, which will change this commute dramatically, because really the route that he's taking is sort of falling along what the new alignment will be anyway. I mean, that's going to be a long time coming, but for those of you who don't know, the Bill Dawson Trail is basically out of commission for years as they get this figured out. But basically what's going to be happening long term is that the 520 trail is going to sort of continue on, sort of adjacent to Portage Bay, and then end up at the Roanoke lid, which we're showing here is, I don't know if this is the exact marked detour for the Bill Dawson Trail, but this path is probably as close as you're going to get. So he started out there on the west side of Montlake, then heading down here. This is how you're gonna ride down, getting to the playfield where the old Dawson Trail ended, where you can sort of see it on the map there. But I was just saying, as now the 520 project has shifted westward, when that's all said and done, I can't imagine anyone else doing this. You would probably just get straight on the trail and save even a couple more miles. But this type of road that he's on now, I'd say is pretty indicative of his Seattle road. This nice that this one actually has some speed calming here with those speed bumps, but you'll often find that especially on the trails, you can get some variability in pavement. So when you're commuting, definitely watch out for some of the cracks on the road that you see here on the ground. I think that's definitely one reason to have sort of wider tires when riding around our city, as well as you're going to expect hills no matter where you go. But this route that we picked and that he's riding today is sort of minimizing that as much as possible, but it's really hard to do so in a city like ours. But yeah, as he's just going along here, I also want to mention that I'm going to be opening up memberships for this channel, so that's something new. Just been thinking about things as I've been recovering, and looking for more ways that you guys can support my journey and that I can keep this going up. So it's just gonna be a really simple $2 where you just get some added features and hopefully can connect with me more, and we can do more stuff like this, and I can show off your community and stuff. So you can see that all below. But yeah, we're just continuing here on Lynn Street, and I think for this route, a lot of this is going to be either painted bike lanes or just no bike lanes at all. So yeah, as really what I said earlier, this is gonna be really depending on your own comfort level. But this area right near Interlaken is really quite popular. Interlaken being sort of one of the main sort of climbs that people use going north south into Capitol Hill. It's relatively calm compared to a lot of the other corridors, so that was the reason why it has a big appeal. But yeah, it is interesting though, because I think a lot of times commuters, it's always a balance between finding things that are safe and the fastest way to go. The way I would say is like you want to find a route that is that you can repeat 100 times without issues. But of course, you also, for most people, they also prioritize sort of the time it takes. So uh, it's gonna be always in terms of choosing your path, just getting a good sense of the level of traffic stress that you're willing to ride in, as well as just yeah, as over time just seeing the type of hazards that appear on that route and to see if it works for you. To be honest, I find especially in the summer times and things, trails are where things get a lot less predictable, and that's often the times where things can get a bit wonky. So there's some merit to using commute paths like this, I'd say, but to each their own. I personally love using my Wombi, the e-bike, for my commuting things now, just because it's just so easy and it's comfortable with the wide tires and all. But here we're getting past to an area where now we're approaching where that new Rolling Lake lid is going to end up. And then one cool thing that some of you might have heard of is that before they were considering getting rid of this extra work to build sort of the Harvard shared user path Harvard connection. But that is back online, and I was just gonna point out there, he made a left turn at that yellow, but definitely always just be extra cautious of what cars are doing. Sometimes you never know. I think there he had a. It's always good if you have eye to eye though, and it's sort of directed at each other. But yeah, but here we are headed towards Harvard Street to begin with. So in the, I don't know, 10 years later, whenever that comes out, you would just pop out a trail and then use that new bike connection to head over straight to Harvard. But here he has to use the really busy 10th Avenue and then continue on his way, turning here on the Miller and then going on. But yeah, as I was saying, there is a lot of interesting things to think about, but I do think that especially in a city like Seattle, road bikes are obviously a good option, but e-bikes are, I think, I have nothing against them. I think they're great, especially for ones that are pedal assisted. But this is an awesome part riding here, getting views of some of the skyline. You can start to see the Space Needle, and then as well as you'll see, of course, the super busy I-5, which if there's not enough motivation to bike in this time, there is going to be, because there's a lot of the the Revive I-5 efforts going on, where basically right here around the Ship Canal Bridge is a ton of construction. And the truth is that this year isn't even the worst of it. The worst of it is to come in the following years. So in short, driving is just going to be bad. You can already see here like lines up of cars there, and in the summertime is usually when they do the most of this closures. It's just going to get far worse. So definitely more motivation to take your two wheels. But something I really wanted to call out here that's not covered in the riding is definitely all the work that's happening for the J line in Eastlake. That area is just hard under construction right now, but when that completes, that also does bring up another interesting option for you to connect these two places. Yeah, I'd say right now it's probably not going to be the best time, but with the new bike lanes coming in, of course, with the bus lanes and all, that should be quite different once that starts to come up, and of course you'll get all that coverage on this channel. But here we see a lot of that rough pavement again, some potholes that are not all too uncommon especially in parts of Capitol Hill. I've heard of some of these taking out full car tires, so yeah, definitely always have a heads up here as I think he's now heading in a downhill direction. Yeah, there is no getting around hills in this corridor, but I think this route that he's picked and is basically the flattest it'll get. But it is nice too whenever you get to commute and you have just greenery and trees around. I think that's something really unique about riding around here. You're just always covered by green space, which is just something that not all cities get in their sort of urban core and areas. But this is near the I-5 as well, so you're probably hearing some highway noises and all. But I think that overall this commute takes him about 20 minutes, and I think that's a really nice sweet spot for most people. I think for me personally, anything that is 7 miles or less, I'll definitely do it 100% by bike, because I think that's about, on an e-bike, yeah, like about 35 40 minutes total time, probably 30 minutes or less of riding time. And I think that should be a good goal, and that actually stretches out a lot further than you think as we head here into a super duper used overpass. I think I would just call it Lakeview Boulevard, but more than that, the views you get from here, which is probably one of the best views you'll get on a commute, probably only rivaled by things like the Hote Rietsal Bridge. You can just see all of Seattle. You can see the Puget Sound, Elliott Bay, and all those buildings behind as well. It is a nice flowy descent down into now the busy parts, and entering into all this traffic, where we can talk more specifically about some of the different routes that he's taking. But one thing that's going to be interesting here is that he decides to weave through some of this traffic as he's going to the front. I'd say definitely watch out and have a heads up if you're ever doing things like this. I'd say never do this at an intersection. The probability of getting right hooked is just simply way too high. Here, since all the cars are stopped, I don't know the full legality of this, but I think it's something fine that a lot of people on bikes do, just to not be hanging out there and risk themselves. But definitely have a heads up. And then as we get here to the new Eastlake layover facilities, the new bike lanes, the setup here is a lot nicer than it was before, but still definitely look out, because sometimes with some of these designs here, like coming up, we have sort of the parked cars left of the bike lane. Sometimes that can sort of minimize the visibility, so I think that's why Cam has sort of adapted to just ride fast and in the lane. So this is just going a lot of the times, interestingly, I'd say usage of bike lanes like this is sort of dependent on speed. I think if you're going like under 15 miles per hour, I would just stay in the bike lanes and proceed, because I think you usually have the speed able to stop in time and everything. But if I can't tell how fast he's going exactly, but there is sort of a merit of what he's doing here as well. But you can let me know what you think below, because I think everyone is a little bit different. But yeah, I'm not in control of how he's riding, so it's just interesting to see each person taking a thing. But now he's here on Thomas, passing right by the REI flagship store. And Thomas is sort of designated to be one of this main sort of greenways and connections through this area of South Lake Union. So you can definitely see it evolve a ton on the west end, sort of west of Westlake, all the way through Dexter to Seattle Center. And there's even talks about how they might extend that going into 4th Avenue using Broad Street, or at least early discussions. But here on the east side of Thomas Street is just sort of there isn't much, but the traffic here isn't too busy, so it's pretty well usable. And I think he's going to use this connect all the way onto 9th Avenue, which is sort of a main commuting corridor for sure. And this is where we sort of enter the hustle and bustle, as we're going to notice a lot of other sort of commuters now, both by cars and bikes, Lime scooters, and all. I'd say that Seattle's a little interesting, where I still feel it's pretty nice that generally speaking, you still see like a lot of acoustic bikes around, but otherwise it is a lot of like Lime and e-scooters. When I was riding in New York, it seemed like in terms of people riding in the city, it was like almost all e-bikes, because it's either a city e-bike or they were like delivery e-bike drivers, which is like comprises like a huge amount of the ridership. So here we're just going straight through across Westlake, and then turning off onto 9th coming up ahead. I'm actually not really clear on the signal there. That was a bit of a weird one. There's also tracks from the SU, the Salt Lake Union tram, so definitely look out for those whenever you're riding across. Really, not passing them at a right angle is a bad time, so don't ever make that mistake. And yeah, Westlake has changed so much since I moved here in 2016. So many new things. And here, yeah, we see two riders right there. Don't know if you caught it, but like two riders clearly just running that red, and that car had to adjust. So please ride responsibly. Many people on the Lime things, it's like it's really convenient, but it's also not a great idea to just go out and about like that freely. But here now we're on the official bike network, and it's pretty simple from here. We're just gonna be heading straight going on to Bell Street and then 7th. So my plan is I'm still out of commission right now, can't ride outdoors, but I'll probably be back out there definitely by mid-September is my hope right now. And I plan to do a few rides, giving a full tour of the best of our bike network, because all of this has really come up in like the time that I moved here. From the previous levy that was passed, we went from almost like nothing in downtown to like a whole bunch of things. So everything was 7th, 8th, this and 4th Avenue, like all that stuff has really come up in the time that I've lived here. So I plan to just show all the new stuff in one go, with then that should give you a really good primer about how to navigate this in general. But once you get the hang of it and you know the few good roads, there's very few places in actual downtown, the downtown grid, that you can't find yourself easily getting to. So we're approaching the destination, which is Amazon campus, and we see this one last optimization where he just gets onto the road so that he has an easier time making this left. You can always use the crosswalk left, which is riding to the far side of the road and then just sort of turning where the other car lane is, instead of having to get in the middle intersection. But yeah, that's about it. That's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have a commute you'd love to submit, would love to see it, please get in touch. Hopefully some of you guys roll over, like button, subscribe, become a member. We're so close to 10k subscribers. Would love to hit that mark before I get out there and we can do a big ride to celebrate. So that's it. I'll see you all in the next one.